Welcome to New Life Live with Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's today's host, Chris Williams.
Welcome to New Life Live. So glad that you're with us today. Again, it's Chris Williams, licensed marriage and family therapist. I have another licensed marriage and family therapist, if I can get all of those words out. JJ West, and licensed psychologist, Dr. Jill Hubbard.
Hello.
How are you guys doing today?
Great.
Doing wonderful.
Good. All right, JJ, we have a question.
Yes, sir.
Bring us some wisdom, or a comment, or a command. I think it's a command. JJ, bring us some wisdom. Bring us some wisdom today.
That is a command.
You're thinking about.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if it's wisdom or not, but there is something I've been thinking about. I was thinking this morning about having the right clothing for the job. I went outside. I had to take some things out of my truck, put some things in my truck, and I noticed that the trash had already been picked up. And I needed to take out all of the yard trash. And we just had a storm blow through. And so there was a ton of yard trash. And, I was wearing a workout shirt and some shorts, which were perfect for the job. And this may be a little TMI, but I was not wearing the right underwear for the job. In Florida, in the summertime, you want sweat-wicking underwear. You want sweat-wicking clothing. I didn't have the right clothing for the job. And in 1 Peter chapter 5, he says, clothe yourselves with humility. And so often when we are in a bind relationally, there's some conflict that we're in, we're stuck, we're not moving forward, it's because we don't have the right clothing for the job. We haven't clothed ourselves with humility.
Wow.
And the opposite, when we clothe ourselves with pride, kind of like that old fairy tale where the tailor kills the 7 flies with one blow and he makes the belt, out of with the writing that he killed 7 with one blow. And he clothed himself with pride, and that got him into trouble. Instead, we need to look for ways where we're clothing ourselves with humility. So if you're stuck relationally, if you are at an impasse with someone, it might be helpful to stop and ask yourself the question, do I have the right clothes on?
Wow.
Am I wearing the right thing to bring about peace?
Yeah.
I was really wondering where you were going to go with that when you were giving us the TMI. So way to turn it around, JJ.
Yes.
Make it something spiritual and meaty.
That's right. That's right.
Yes. But it's such a reminder that, listen, pride is bad underwear.
Yeah.
Right at the end of the day, pride is,
pride is bad underwear.
We
got to make that a T-shirt.
Yeah.
But when we dig deeper, pride comes to me in my life as a form of protection, where humility feels so vulnerable.
Yes.
And so that struggle of and I want to be right.
Yeah.
And I want to be, on top.
I think about how pride is the opposite of shame, right? It's the opposite side of the same coin where we puff ourselves up.
Yeah.
But humility actually comes from a place of security.
That's really important.
Right?
Yeah.
Knowing who we are, being grounded in the Lord.
Yeah.
That's right.
So.
That's right.
It also reminds me of Henry Cloud's definition of, where he says, I just drew a blank on it.
Okay. Okay, we'll come back to it.
Yes, we'll come back to it. I'll look it up and we'll come back to it. But humility versus pride.
Yeah.
And my goodness sakes, has pride gotten me into so much trouble? And has humility brought so many gifts? Hard-earned, for sure.
Yes.
Hard-earned.
Yeah.
But if this is something that you're struggling with, give us a call. We'd love to help you out today. And we also have many different ways to break through pride in our workshops, because that's a defense mechanism to our hurt. So find healing and hope today, and we'll be right back.
Restore gave me strength. It gave me more belief in my faith. I met up with a group of women that are going through things that they had no control over.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 1st through the 3rd. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
I've had a great experience at Restore.
1-800-NEWLIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We were just talking about humility and what its gift is and pride. And I couldn't think of this definition that I was trying to access. And it was a very humbling moment.
Oh, yes.
My pride wanted to get it right, and I couldn't get it right. But really, it does harken back to reading in Henry Cloud's book, Integrity, and how he defines integrity as the character to deal with reality. And I'm just reminded that so many times pride takes us away from the reality sitting in front of us, where humility allows us to engage in reality. And speaking to what you were saying, Jill, is that humility actually comes from a source of strength and security, whereas pride comes from a source of insecurity and uncertainty. Yeah, so important. JJ, that is a lot of wisdom and great reminder today. And with that, we're going to go to the phones. We're going to go to Donna listening in Woodbridge, Virginia on WAVA. Donna, so glad that you're with us today. Tell us what's going on.
Hello. I'm calling in reference to a woman I heard last week. Her name was Sandy, about her son meeting a girl that was from a Christian camp. And he mentioned to the parents that he didn't come from a loving family and how it was a shot to the heart. Well, if I could talk to Sandy, I would tell her right now, strap on your seatbelt because it's going to get worse. You know.
Well, what was your what was your situation?
I had the most beautiful, wonderful son who loved us so much. West Point graduate, a gorgeous, wonderful boy, and he met this beautiful girl, and the first real love of his life, I honestly think, and brought her home, and I accepted her, and I loved her so much, and then it started. It started about how we're a horrible family, how we're dysfunctional, we're toxic, and it's heartbreaking. It gets so heartbreaking, and it was almost like her and her family brainwashed my son to hate us even more, and this has been going on now for a year and a half, 2 years, I think, and it's at the point now where I haven't even seen my grandson. I've never met him, and he's a year and a half old. Wow. I haven't talked to my son in a year, and the last time he talked to me, it was like, I asked if I could go down to see him. My husband and I stay in a hotel to see our grandson, just to see him. Yeah. And no, no, we don't want that. And then 2 years ago, before they even had a baby, they told us that, well, you're not allowed to be with him, our children alone. Yeah. You have to be supervised. And that was conforming. We have to be, I love God. I live for God every day, and God is the only thing that's got myself and my husband through this. Yeah. And, Christian, they don't, it's unforgiving, judging our life. We gave our kids everything, and we work like other parents as hard as we can to give our kids everything. And then to come back and say he was neglected. Yeah.
That's really, really painful.
So
Yeah.
I can just hear the pain in your voice, Donna, and it's every parent's nightmare to be separated. And with a son, they do go and cleave to the wife, and the wife becomes the number one female and often is the director of things. That's why I always say it's so important, and I said this to Sandy, to connect with that daughter-in-law. Do everything you can to have a relationship.
I did everything I could.
Yeah.
I honestly think the goal of the family was to separate the son from us. I really do.
Yeah.
Like, they got him out of state. They got him, and they're all surrounded by him. His whole they live all a mile apart. You know, it was.
So they
their
don't.
goal was to get him.
The in-laws don't include you. They didn't
no.
try to connect with you.
Oh no! I mean, even my son even got very sick, and they don't even tell us what's going wrong. And then they're like, she's too much drama. We can't tell what honestly, my son could be dead right now, and I would not know that. I would know it.
So, Donna, one of the things that I think JJ said to the other caller that you're referencing was about really humbling yourself, right? And approaching them with humility and being willing to acknowledge anything you think has played a part in this, any way in which you feel like perhaps you let your son down, even if it seems so minor. And, even if 90% of the time you were great parents, can you admit to that 10% and perhaps in writing say, son, these are the things that we are aware of, but we want to understand what else is there that could have caused us to be completely alienated, right? And to say, we understand that you're married now, and of course you're going to be with the other family. We just don't understand our complete exclusion.
Well, I tried in December, and I begged, and I even said, I will go to where you live. I will hire a therapist to sit with us, all of us together, to figure out how we could get through this. And silence, pure silence. So nothing, nothing, no response, zero. I mean, we were deleted from his life.
Yeah.
We have been deleted from his life.
That
and
is.
He doesn't care.
Yeah. And that's a really, really painful experience.
It's horrible.
Horrible.
I cried 3 times a day. I
Yeah.
went to a therapist for 6 months. No one can help someone through that.
Yeah.
Well,
I've gotten to the point where it's like he is gone, and I have no control over it, and I let him go. He's gone.
Yeah.
I can't even think about him anymore. It's like I never had a son.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only one. I talk to so many people.
No,
Their
it's
sons-
epidemic right now, and it's a horrible trend that's happening in families, and I'm so sorry that you've been subjected to it. You're right. Nobody can make them repair the relationship, and I think,
And honestly, I would tell Sandy just to step back, just to not even get involved. Just let it go. Don't offer to help. Don't offer to do anything. Don't give them money.
Well,
don't do anything.
Donna,
Just be out of
Donna,
the picture.
let me interject here for a second, because what you don't want to do is take your situation and project it on to everyone else and say that's what everyone else is going to experience, and so they should handle it the same way that I would handle it, because it's not the same situation. Now, I do think there's a couple things here that you need to pay attention to. And I'm echoing Jill's statement. I'm so sorry that you're having to go through this. I can't even imagine. My children aren't yet at the place where they're getting married, but my son's getting close. I can't imagine how painful it would be if we lost one of our kids in this way, where me and my wife were canceled out of their life. It would be excruciating. Okay, so I understand the pain to the extent that I can. I understand the pain that you're in, but I need you to focus on the 2 things that you have control over. You don't have control over how they respond. You don't have control over what influence the extended family, her family, the in-laws have on them, on this young couple. What you have control over is, one, your own ability to grieve what's been lost, which you need to do that work. That's where I would differ with you, that it can be helpful. What you've experienced is a tremendous loss, but you do need to grieve that loss. And then two, working on, how can I continue to, as much as it is up to me, live at peace, which means I'm going to do whatever I can to be the kind of person who's approachable, who's humble, who is willing to own her role, her part, right? And so if they're saying to me, oh, you're too much drama, okay, help me understand, what does that look like? Because I want to change that. I don't want to be someone who feels like too much drama, right? To Jill's point, I'm going to work on that 10%, and that's hard. It's hard to stay focused on that because the pain is so great and you're focused on the loss instead. And when we get where we're hurting, anger ends up being the sad's bodyguard, right? Mad becomes sad's bodyguard. And so we tend to respond in anger rather than humility. We tend to respond with protectiveness, right? I'm defensive and angry, as opposed to, I'm going to humble myself, be vulnerable and inviting. And so that's what you have control over. And that's hard, because what we want to do is we see how much this other person is or isn't behaving well, and we want to focus on them. But I have zero control. I cannot fix, change, or control others. So I need to turn my focus back on me. And so I just invite you to do that. That's hard to do. So go ahead.
So Donna, where therapy can be helpful is that's where you take your desperation, those feelings of desperation, because you don't want the desperation to leak out in what little contact you might have with your son. I think that periodically making contact via writing is important to keep inviting and to let him know, yes, you're working on yourself and you see areas where may have caused him difficulties, right? But you take that desperation so that when you're dealing with your son, it's not him needing to rescue the wounded mother. It's the mother that has places to go and other people to support her that can come to her son wanting relationship, but not needing him to make up her life.
Yeah, that's really good.
And I think that's important. When you've had such a close relationship, sometimes they have to push away hard in order to feel their separateness.
Yeah.
And I don't know the issues of the daughter-in-law.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Donna, we're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back. And I think it really speaks to what Jill and JJ are saying, is that when there are uncontrollables that are painful outside of us, then it is our opportunity and our challenge to then take control of our own lives and what we can do in the midst of that. So, Donna, thank you so much for calling in today. And we are in support and prayer for a reconciliation in your relationship with your son. We're going to go back to the phones. We're going to go to Kim, listening in Rogers, Arkansas, on the podcast. Kim, so glad that you're with us today. Talk to us. What's going on?
Thank you. So yesterday I got back home from a great vacation time with my husband and put in my New Life CD for August, and Jackie was on there talking about trauma. So I'm listening and I'm thinking, I don't think I have any trauma, but I might. But my real question is, I have a MRI scheduled tomorrow for a shoulder. It's not a huge issue, but it's something that I need to get done.
Say that again. It broke up a little bit. The MRI is for what?
For my shoulder.
Oh, for your shoulder. Okay.
Anyway, for my shoulder. So I'm just getting that affirmed. And that's great. I want to find out what it says. But planning and thinking of the MRI, and in the past I had to have one many years ago, and I had to search for a place that had an open head, right? Because I couldn't. Just being inside of there makes me nervous. And the question when I scheduled it was, she said, are you anxious about small places? And I hesitated. I stopped, and then I laughed, and I said, no, I can do this. I can do this. And I really want to do it without needing medication. And yet after I thought about it for a while, I got this like tightness in your chest, like you think something's sitting on you. And then I thought, I don't need to go there. I don't need to do that. I'm growing. I'm expanding. I can do this. So then I think, is claustrophobic? Is that response because of some trauma that I may have experienced that I'm not aware of? Now, my sister has it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the person that was asking me the question of what I was asking, she said, well, it could be something that you don't remember or whatever. But I think of genetics because my sons are amazing men and they get in very small places. They scuba dive. They go in their jobs.
Yeah. Well, Kim,
and they have no issues. So
you hear the
that's my
music.
question.
So let me jump in really quickly, because this is a really important and I think a very good question of like, what is the origin behind some of these anxieties and struggles that we're dealing with? We're going to come back right after that, and we're going to tackle this thing head on.
When you give to the New Life Scholarship Fund, you're giving someone hope for a brighter future.
I was kind of in the closet and hit with my struggle. Your donation really made the difference, especially in my situation, because I would have getting laid off from my job.
At the New Life Intensives, hurting people are able to begin a new path towards healing and freedom that has an effect on all of those around them.
I think the people who support New Life financially are people that I'll never know. You know, I'll never be able to thank them personally for the gift that they gave to us. Their giving saved me, my husband, and our family from being torn apart.
To help hurting people to connect to the help they need, make your gift to the Scholarship Fund at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE and specifying scholarships.
Someone called and sponsored me to come this weekend. Whoever that is, just know that you saved a life. Literally, you saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found life recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you're with us. You know, we provide these life-changing workshops and intensives throughout the year. And we have Every Man's Battle coming up online this weekend. We have the Emotional Freedom Workshop coming up. We have Life Recovery Conference coming up. And I believe we have another Intimacy and Marriage Workshop coming up in Dallas, I believe in October. If you're stuck in an area of your life and you want a powerful experience to break through into this new area of living, check that out. Go to newlife.com, and it's on the events tab. Oftentimes we allow finances to be a barrier. Here at New Life, we do have a scholarship program, so don't allow finances to get in the way of you getting the help that you need. And so I want to go back to Kim. We're talking with Kim about claustrophobia, confined spaces, and where is the origin of this? Where did this thing come from? So, Jill, what do you think?
Well, Kim, we were talking about that. Okay, so you were listening to Jackie talk about trauma. So claustrophobia certainly could be a part of trauma, but I think it's a much broader spectrum from, it could be one indicator of something severe, but you would usually have other indicators. It wouldn't be a solo indicator. But it also could be of minor situations where you felt trapped or caught or someone else was controlling you in some way. But it also can be a learned behavior that runs in families.
Oh.
So your sister also experiences this. You said your son does. I'm wondering about
my kids don't.
Oh, your kids don't.
Kids don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm wondering about your parents, because sometimes when we're just in an anxious environment, different things, anxiety manifests in different ways.
Okay.
So
that
were there times, Kim, do you remember in childhood where you experienced bullying, being picked on in some way?
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that can be
Okay.
be a response. Claustrophobia can be a response because again, there's that feeling of I need to control something that is outside of my control. Right, so I need to,
because I was controlled.
Yeah,
right.
or
I was controlled or trapped.
I'm trapped in a difficult situation I can't get out of. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And so I would be claustrophobic because I'm being in this small environment, and there's nothing I can do because I'm, in a sense, that's what I have felt. You're saying, is that what you're saying?
That's a possibility.
Certainly is a possibility. Yeah. I do think because your sister experiences the same symptoms, it would be good to talk with her about, do we have some shared experiences in childhood that may have contributed to this, right?
We have a dad that was very controlling and very all about himself, and we would run around and try and make everything right so he wouldn't get upset.
Yeah.
When he got upset, then I don't know, and we were never really asked. We are very blessed. We had a very blessed mom and dad. It was my sister and I, and my mom never asked me. I never thought about it until I would, of course, listen to you guys over the years. She'd never say, Kim, how do you feel about this? Are you okay? I'm so sorry that we're not talking to you, or we're not, how are you? I don't ever remember my mom saying, how are you doing? Because I think she was trying to deal with it too, So,
right.
But
if
definitely have that.
And Kim, if you look at it from that perspective, you're living in a volatile environment.
Yes, we were never sure what it was going to be like when he came home.
Okay, so that actually is called an environmental trauma. And it actually gets a little bit more into the bones, if that makes sense. It gets a little bit deeper because it's the way we live our life in and out. It's like kind of like the frog in the boiling pot of water. It gets woven in. And so our body may constantly be looking for, in any situation, what is my way out?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
not consciously thinking through it. Exactly.
MRI, there's no way out.
yes. So you may come by the claustrophobia very, very naturally. But
I'm going to ask him. So if the power goes out, tell me you can get me out of here.
Yes, but I don't
know if they can.
But I'm wondering this: would your sister be able to go with you to the MRI?
You know what? That's sweet. She would go, but you know what? Just you saying that causes me anxiousness because she is more anxious than I am. And I being the people pleaser and wanting to take care of her. I'm a great caregiver. Just don't put me in the MRI.
Okay. Good. Well,
I can take her, but don't take me.
Yes. Well, Kim, I believe that this situation and you calling in today is a great doorway.
Okay.
Right.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
You're carrying trauma. Your sister is carrying trauma. We hear you have already identified the family roles that you have fallen into as a result. And those roles, although they manage a situation, they only protect the anxiety to stay alive.
Can I say one quick thing,
go
Chris?
for it. Go for it.
So keep in mind, Kim, that God is with us, and God is always the one who makes a way out for us when we feel trapped. Right? So the Israelites,
I'm my mind. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, the Israelites are running away, right, from the Egyptians. They're stuck between the sea and the advancing army, and God makes a way through. God will make a way through for you.
Absolutely.
And we keep reminding ourselves of that truth.
Absolutely. Kim, we're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back and really kind of helping understand our story and where we're at. Thank you so much for calling in today, and we'll be back right after this.
I'm addicted to oxycodone. I've been on oxycodone almost 3 years.
Addiction affects millions of people every year.
I've been on it for a long time, and I need to get off.
New Life can connect you with some of the finest Christian inpatient treatment programs in the country that work with people from all backgrounds and beliefs.
First it was for back pain, and I was on it for a long time. And then I currently just had shoulder surgery.
If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction to illegal or prescription drugs, alcohol, or dealing with an eating disorder, it's time to seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers all around the country.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying, so my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We are so thankful that you are with us today. And one of the ways that we are incredibly thankful is the generosity of those who partner with us financially that really helps hurting people connect to the resources they need to find healing and growth and health and vitality. And so if you are out there and you want to be a part of what New Life does and an integral part of what New Life does, your donations help tremendously in this area. You can give online at newlife.com or you can call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And again, we really do see this, and I love working with our donor team because this is a relationship and a partnership. It goes so far beyond just a financial contribution, but a partnership in seeing His kingdom come, His will being done, a little bit more on earth as it is in heaven. So please consider giving to us today. And with that, we're going to go right back to the phones. We're going to go to Alex in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, listening or discovering us through Recovery Group. Alex, we are so grateful that you're with us today. Talk to us. What's going on?
So I'm a part of an Every Man's Battle group. So just to give that a little bit of background, so my wife and I are 4 years out from an incident of infidelity. So God is keeping us together. So that's a praise.
That's awesome.
And so just recently, so one of my coworkers, a female coworker, came up and said, "Hey, this other girl is kind of talking about you a lot, and it seemed like she may have a crush on you." And so, that's obviously not something that I want in my life. So this coworker was coming to me from a way of kind of being helpful. And so then, I kind of took a step back and said, okay. So I went home, talked to my wife, told her what happened. And so, the course of action that I took, was trying to figure out how do I get this handled, from an employment, standpoint without really getting anybody into trouble, because, that other employee didn't really talk to me about it directly, didn't make any passes at me. So, and I also don't want to, kind of divulge too much non-essential information to my employers.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a great question, and a little bit tougher scenario, especially since you're working through areas of infidelity. You're working through into greater wholeness, going through every man's battle. I mean, this is
I love
you're
that
on the
you
right
took
track.
it to your wife immediately.
Yeah,
because
Yes,
that's really
fantastic.
important. Instead of letting the idea kind of fester inside of you.
Yeah.
Right? Or trying to squelch it. You just brought it out into the open with her so that you guys could be a team, and you're reaffirming your connection to your wife and her as the priority.
And that shows us the trust that's being built in the
Love
marriage.
that.
Yeah, absolutely love that. So GJ, where does Alex go from here?
Yeah, so I've got a few bits of advice coming from an inexperienced counselor, having never had a coworker interested in me before. But I'm going to share with you what I think I would do if I was ever in this situation. So, Alex, number one, which you already did, I'm so glad that you already talked to your wife about it. Number two, I think that you could go back to the coworker that came to you originally. If you haven't already done so, you could say to that coworker, hey, it would probably be helpful if you could let that person know, since she's already indicated to you that she is attracted to me or she has interest in me. If you could communicate to her that I'm happily married and I have no interest in pursuing a relationship with anybody at work. If your coworker could do that, that would save, obviously, the woman the embarrassment of having to have that conversation with you. It would certainly save having to go to HR or to your employer or anybody like that, involving other people where it's not necessary. I would say you could do that. And then number three, label your love early. Talk about your wife regularly on the job. Talk about
have a picture on your desk.
Have a picture on your desk. And talk in a healthy way about your relationship. How much you enjoy spending time with her. How much you enjoy the activities that you guys do together. The more you do that, the more you are communicating to the outside world. I am not available. I am not looking. I am not interested. I am quite content with what I already have. So I would do. You've already done the first one. I would do those other two.
Right.
So I've done number 2 and number 3. I've probably got 3 or 4 pictures of me and my wife and my family. The other coworker, the one that had expressed interest, is already aware that that I've talked about my family, I've talked about my wife, all in positive ways, talking about my strong Christian background, and she is apparently also has a strong Christian faith, and then I think was kind of recently divorced. So that and I'm not one of those people. Like I said, work in recovery. This isn't like press into somebody who's no. This was like hey, sorry to hear that, and then just glance right past it.
Yeah,
exactly. So now, Alex, let me ask this. Can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
Has this coworker that's expressed attraction? Is it just that she's expressed attraction, or has she expressed that she wants to follow up in some way in terms of a relationship with you?
I don't believe that that's the case. But according to my I'll call neutral coworker, according to them, it's just kind of this repeated and just constantly commenting just on me and my whatever attractiveness that she has. So it was just
part of the attraction,
like a one passing comment.
Yeah, but part of the attraction may be the fact that you are loyal to your wife, that you love your family, that you're committed to your Christian faith, right? Those are all attractive qualities that she sees and admires in you. That doesn't necessarily, just because I have an attraction to someone doesn't mean I have to act on that attraction. Correct?
Yeah, good. Yeah, correct. Yeah, but it just sounded like it was kind of excessive, the amount that it was being discussed when I wasn't around.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we don't know how much the neutral person was interpreting the comments either. It could be that in this coworker's going through a divorce or being divorced was maybe lamenting about what she misses, what she desires to have, and that looks very attractive in you. But again, we don't know her intentions. I think I would maintain really good boundaries as you're doing. Just don't ever be alone with her. Be cordial and nice, but keep it short and very professional.
Yeah. Well, I find this common, very, very common in recovery from, some of our sexual broken behaviors as well as infidelity, is that attraction becomes threatening to both the husband and the wife. That attraction becomes this monster in the world that's going to take your life down. But to your point, JJ, attraction is just a thing on planet Earth we all have.
Yeah.
And recovery is about not needing to do anything with it.
Right, and that's where just even Alex checking inside himself.
Yeah.
What does that information do for him internally?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Does that excite him in some way?
Yeah. Absolutely. Because as a man, that could be very, or a woman, that could be very, as a person.
It could stir.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Right. We all want to be found attractive.
Yes.
That's a human reality. We want to be found attractive. When I'm now using that to build my identity on, when I'm using that to curry certain favor with people, right? That's where it becomes problematic. But the desire to want to be attractive, that's normal. That's human, right? To talk about that. For you, Alex, to be able to talk about that with your wife, to check in with her. Hey, how are you doing? Just having this information. I'm checking in regularly. No, I've never been alone with this woman. I'm not going to be alone with this woman. But the fact that we still work together, how are you doing with that? Is that triggering for you? What do we need to do to resolve those triggers?
Yeah. Well, and I just think it's just such a good reminder of the ongoing work of recovery. That, hey, what does this stir up for us? What does this stir up for me? And what's this next step of work that I need to do? And again, when you see, again, one of the things I love in Every Man's Battle and our Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is that when there is a deeper emotional intimacy, physical attraction becomes less of a thing. Its energy is removed. And so both a husband and wife can be like, you find that, that person's attractive, that person, but it's not a threat.
No.
It doesn't mean anything. Yeah. And that's that ongoing thing. Now, to your point, JJ, if boundaries are crossed, we got to, recognize what the boundaries are, what crossed, and then what we do about it. And so, Alex, we believe you're on the right track. We cheer you on, and your wife on, in your recovery, in your growing marriage. And we're going to send you a copy of How We Love and cheer you on as you continue. Thank you.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are. Dr. Heidi Summers on coaching.
A lot of people don't understand the difference between counseling and coaching. Coaches can help you with strategizing. Not everyone is in a crisis or recovering from a trauma. A lot of people just need help getting to where they want to be, and they don't know how to do that. And so it's helpful to have a third party come in to give objective feedback, set goals, create accountability, and help you walk out what your goals actually are.
If you need a coach for life, your career, relationships, your health and fitness, leadership, and more, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been screened and certified with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
Coaches are intended to help you live in the present and goal set toward what it is you want for the future.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and talk to us about getting a New Life coach today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. As we were just talking with Alex, I was thinking of something that's coming up, actually. And if you want to reach, if you're in recovery and want to reach a new area of recovery, it could be looking at areas of maybe a traumatic past, areas of codependency, relapse and recovery. Our Life Recovery Conference is online coming up October 5th. And I can't encourage you enough. And we are also going to send Alex a free registration to the Life Recovery Conference on October 5th. Because, again, it just is that new and next level. It, of course, is for people who are looking to check out recovery and what is it about and how can it help me in my life. But it is also for those who want to take the next step in it. So, again, that's Life Recovery Conference online October 5th. And you can go to newlife.com on our events page to check that out. We're going to go to a final call today. We're going to go to Agua, listening in Dallas, Texas on the app. Agua, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Did I pronounce the name correctly?
Yes, you did.
Excellent. Well, I'm so glad that you're with us today. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with you and how we can help you.
Okay, so I've been married 9 years. I have 4 kids ranging from the age of 10 to 3 for the youngest. There has been a history of infidelity in my marriage several times, almost every time I've gotten pregnant with my kids. And the last time of infidelity, I caught my husband. That was about 2 years ago, almost. I left in a fight or flight mode, and I blocked him for a while, and then, I actually ended up at the hospital because of it, for a mental hospital, because it was, my body went into stress mode. I was numb, couldn't feel anything. I had suicidal ideation and other ideation of wanting to hurt other people. That was very scary, and I had psychosis. I stayed with my family for a while, and then my husband came and visited us. He said he wanted to work on it. We bought a house, but, there's nothing been worked on. And every time I bring out the issue of infidelity in our marriage, for me wanting to work on it, he gets mad and blames me that that's the reason why he did it. So I feel like there's no accountability. I feel like, history is going to repeat itself, and it's very scary for me. And I had told him how I felt about before we even bought the house, about how I felt it, about how just because we buy a house doesn't mean it fixes stuff.
For sure.
I felt like maybe he could, I feel like he didn't really understand, and I feel like he doesn't understand still. And he uses culture as an excuse. So, because I'm not from here, blah, blah, blah. You have to remember, I'm not from here. We don't do that, like counseling and all that stuff. So it makes me very frustrated. And he brings up divorce several times, and blame shifts on me.
Yeah.
And I just, it's very frustrating. And there has been history of.
So Agua, let me jump in really quickly. You said that you're afraid that history is going to repeat itself.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea that history is currently repeating itself?
I don't know, because he won't let me see his phone. Last time I asked him to see his phone, he got mad, and he's like...
Okay, so let me tell you, history is repeating itself right now.
Well, yeah, and it already has multiple times.
Yeah.
And there's been no intervention to stop.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything about it.
Yeah.
No, he hasn't. Like, last time I separated in fight or flight mode, and I actually had to be court-ordered to the hospital. By it, and he said, he came and said he was sorry and all this, but he hasn't done anything about it, and it makes me very frustrated.
Yeah.
And everybody's telling me to leave, like my family, people from church that I went to, and You know, he said he would go to church with us when we bought our house, like, oh, we will do all this and all these ideas.
Agua,
like, yeah, let's do them all. But
we want to be able to help you. So for time's sake, what's the question for us?
I guess the question is, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do because I feel frustrated because everybody's telling me to leave. I'm in hypervigilance mode all the time.
Yeah.
And he gets mad about that. And he gets mad about when I bring up the past. He just wants me to forget about it, sweep it under the rug, I feel like. And like this last time he got caught.
Let me jump in and ask you a question. Can you live with a guy who is fundamentally and frequently unfaithful to you?
No.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay, good. I want you to feel that answer in your body.
It makes me scared.
I know.
Of course.
I know.
And because
I wanted to believe him.
I know.
Believe him. Like,
of course you do.
Because you want to be loved.
Yes, and to not believe him.
And you want to be loved well. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
And I've told him I don't trust him.
I know. But Agua, you keep going to the perpetrator, trying to get them an answer from them. And he is stuck in this pattern. He's changing externals and making promises, but he's not changing anything internally. And then he's shaming you, like you said, blame shifting, and shaming you that you would even question him. So to seek his permission or to seek, his ideas and authority in order to help your marriage, you're going to the wrong place. He doesn't have the answers for you because he's unwilling. And that's why you need some people, because you want to believe him, because that's the easier path and that's the desirable path. To not believe him means your world really changes, and that is really scary. So first, you've got a lot of voices. You need some key people in your life. Are you in therapy? Do you have a solid support group that can come? Go ahead.
I have my family, but
okay.
I mean, I was in therapy. Before. I was in CBT therapy, and my therapist kept telling me of the pattern of cognitive behavior therapy. Like, why are you buying the house when all this has happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't mention like every little thing that happened this last time.
Okay.
But I was in a really bad state because I had to be ordered to the hospital.
Yeah.
No, I understand that.
So that's actually my biggest concern, Agua, is that being connected to him puts your life in danger. And there's 4 kids right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want to put more pressure on you, but fixing the marriage that is unfixable is not the direction to go. Getting healthy so that 4 kids can have a viable mom, that's the direction.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Anything else with that, JJ?
Yeah, so that's gonna require setting and holding some boundaries that are going to be really scary and hard to hold. So when Chris asked the question, is it tenable to stay in a relationship where the man has not been and cannot be faithful to you? You said no. He asked you to feel that in your body, and your immediate response was, it scares me, right?
Yeah.
Of course it does. Of course it does. And this is part of why so many people don't follow through with boundaries, because there's a cost to it. When we set a boundary for ourselves, there's a cost to it.
But there's a cost to not setting the boundary as
there's
well.
There's a huge cost to not setting it. Correct.
So Agua, I got to jump in because we're going to come to the end of the show here. A couple of things. One, you need to get into a therapist who specializes in betrayal trauma.
Something beyond CBT.
Yeah, absolutely. In betrayal trauma, as well as a support group. We are going to send you a copy of Sherry Keffer's book, Intimate Deception, Healing the Wounds of Sexual Betrayal. Because you're going through a lot, but getting into professional help is really important. Agua, thank you so much for calling in today. I want to support you in your journey. JJ, Jill, loved hanging out with you, spending time with you. Thank you for listening, and be well.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.